Hey everyone, this is Mike, and earlier today a new article was uploaded to the Lodestone informing us about updates to the prohibited activities and also the account penalty policy. I'll mostly be giving a TLDR of the article as well as some of my thoughts on the changes at the end of the video. But if you want to read through everything at your own pace, then I will leave a link to the article in the description of the video. So this is editing Ilya speaking right now, because after I made the video I realized that there's much more to this article than just what is written over here. So this is what is linked in the description down below. But if you click on this one over here, prohibited activities in Final Fantasy XIV, then you get linked to this page over here, which details a whole lot more information about other things that also are punishable now. So I would highly recommend you go through this and read through this stuff, because there's a lot of things in here that a lot of people think are just good fun, like for example when a friend is teleporting away and you like trade with them so it cancels the teleport. It can be a bit annoying, but some people do it sometimes just to have a bit of fun. Or over here, for examples, rescuing people off a platform or shirking your healers. Usually you do that stuff when you're around with friends, but apparently these are now also reportable offenses. So I would highly recommend you go over to this link, read through these prohibited activities, because there's a lot of new stuff that got added to that as well, which I do not talk about in the video, but it would also be way too much to go over all of this in just one video. So I would recommend you go check that out for yourself. But back to the video now. So let's begin with the prohibited activities. They made two additions related to the Party Finder as a countermeasure against RMT vendors. If you don't know what RMT stands for, it's real money trading. In other words, you pay someone actual money and they give you an in-game service in return. Could be something as simple as buying gil, but it could also mean buying content. And when I say buying content, I'm referring to buying an EX trial mount, savage raid loot, or ultimate clears. And I'm sure that there's other things that people would pay money for, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind. Now, RMT has always been against the terms of service, but because the sellers don't use the game itself to communicate these sales, it's always been difficult to punish the sellers, as it were. I think everyone knows that the people advertising raid clears in Party Finder are asking for real money, but because the listings never explicitly say that they're selling it for real money, Square couldn't really do anything against it. So the measures against this are as follows. It's now prohibited to create listings in the Party Finder that advertise RMT services, and the creation of recruitment listings in the incorrect categories is also prohibited. So this hits on both sides of the issue. First off, it makes it so that the RMT listings should now disappear, and secondly, these listings were pretty much always under the duty roulette category, so that was using the wrong section of the Party Finder, and they're now going against that as well. And then they also gave us some examples. So violations would be the following: selling X duty for 1 million gil, or selling X duty and offering rewards, join for more info. Those things are now prohibited. What isn't a violation is asking for help though. So for example, I'm a new player, can somebody help me clear X duty, or help me clear X and I'll pay you 1 million gil? Those things are still fine. They then also go on to mention the listings that should be listed under the Other tab in the Party Finder, like housing related promotions, recruiting members for community groups, etc. Those should be in the Other tab and not anywhere else. The second point was the account penalty policy. Until now, whenever you got a penalty issued on your account, it was a permanent mark on your account. And if you had any extra penalties, then your punishment would often be more severe. So let's say I was a very toxic player 6 years ago, but in the last 5 years I've become a better person, then those incidents from 6 years ago would still influence my penalties. With this addition, they're going to make it so that these penalty points, as they call it, reduce over time. Now, these aren't going away overnight. They mentioned that the lowest severity cases won't go away until at least 1 year has passed, and for more severe cases, these won't start going away until a minimum of 3 to 6 years have passed. They're doing this to make it so that players won't see a penalty as a permanent marker and then not care to improve themselves, because their account has been marked anyways. So this should hopefully encourage them to better their behavior. So, thoughts? Well, let's begin with the RMT stuff. While I do agree that these recruitment listings shouldn't be a thing in Party Finder, vendors will probably find a way around it. As I was making this video, someone in my static Discord posted this screenshot. They're asking for help, not asking to sell, and we all know that they're not really asking for help. Now, they did mention in the post that if they determine a listing is a disguised RMT listing, that they would also be issuing a penalty, so hopefully this isn't some loophole that can be exploited. It's also weird to me that someone is allowed to ask for help and issue a reward, but that someone that is bored and just wants to help other people clear content isn't allowed to advertise themselves. Now, I do get it that the whole advertising thing is what brought about this change in the first place, but it gets a bit mixed feelings from me. As for the penalty points reduction, I think this is a good thing that they're not going to be a permanent mark on your account anymore, but I do feel like the time frame might be a bit long for some stuff. Although I do get it that if you had a more serious offense, that it should take a lot of time for it to go away. It's just that 6 years might be a bit long for that. That's longer than I've been playing the game for. Overall, I don't think that these changes will affect the average player all too much in your day-to-day use of the party finder, but you might have to think twice before making a listing just to make sure that you won't hit any of these new restrictions. So I would encourage you to head over to the link in the description so that you can read the specifics for yourself. But that's pretty much all of the important information. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.